Hey friends, it's Peggy Hall here from thehealthyamerican.org. One of the most common questions I get is about HIPAA, HIPPA. And people are asking me about that and whether an employer is violating their HIPAA rights or whether a store or a school is violating their HIPAA rights by asking for their personal medical information. I want to share that with you. I want to clear up some of the common misconceptions, and I want to hear from you in a comment below. Have you ever said that? Oh, it's against my HIPAA rights. Do you work in the health insurance industry? Because that's really where HIPAA comes into play. And I'm going to share all of that with you. Many people ask me about their HIPAA rights. And if a store or an employer or a public accommodation or a government building or a government agent or anyone is violating your HIPAA rights when they ask you for personal health information. I want to clear this up. Your health information is your business. Okay, that is just cut and dry. You do not need to divulge any of your personal health information unless you choose to do so. Can someone ask you your weight, your blood pressure, your triglyceride levels, your cholesterol levels, your red blood cell count? I mean, this is your private personal information. Really, I guess people can ask you. That's not the question. The question is, do you have to answer? And are there any consequences if you don't answer? And how can you tell people that it's none of their business? That's probably the easiest way, is to just say, it's none of your business. That's personal information. It's my information, and it's none of your business. Are you going to need to tell people what you had for breakfast, how much exercise you did today, what time you went to bed last night, any other personal habits that you might have? No, that is your private business. Now, where it gets a little bit murky, where it gets a little bit confusing, is when people say my information is protected by HIPAA. So let's look at what HIPAA is and what it isn't, and what it can do for you and what it doesn't do for you. And the bottom line is, friends, that many of these stores, employers, and all of that are criminals. They are violating the law. They are asking you for information that you do not need to divulge. And then they are restricting you from activities that you have the right to participate in. So if you are in California, you know that it's California's Civil Code 51 gives you the right, guaranteed, protected, and secured by law. You may not be discriminated against. You have full and equal, doesn't everybody love that word? You have full and equal access to all of the facilities, the privileges, the services of any business establishment of any kind whatsoever. That's what the law in California states. It doesn't say except. There's no exception to that rule. And that is based on your medical condition, on any disability, on your gender, on your ethnicity, on your age, on your accent, on your religion, any of these characteristics. You may not be discriminated against because of those characteristics. So when the location says this applies to everybody, therefore it's not discrimination, that's the very definition of discrimination. If a store or an employer said everyone has to do 10 jumping jacks, what about somebody in a wheelchair? What about somebody with a broken foot? If they say, no, we're asking everybody to do the 10 jumping jacks, that's the very nature of discrimination. If somebody with a broken foot can't do the 10 jumping jacks, somebody in a wheelchair can't do the 10 jumping jacks. It is the nature of discrimination to require you to do something with your body that you don't want to do, and then you are discriminated against. And don't come back at me with, it's a private business and they can do what they want. Where have you been all year? Okay, I've done like many videos, included one which is called Businesses Are Not Above the Law. You can't violate the law just because you're a private business. I mean, where do people get these ideas? Well, Peggy, no shoes, no shirt, no service. No way. There is no law about wearing shoes in a place of business. And you don't breathe through your feet. And shoes and a shirt are not medical interventions. Come on, you guys. It's ridiculous. No store, policy can violate the law, period. And they are all violating the law by asking you about your medical status. So let's take a look, shall we, at exactly what HIPAA is. Let me get that teed up for you here. And let me explain that because many people are asking about that. So let me share my screen. Here we go. And we will take a look at, this is where you want to go, hhs.gov. That is Health and Human Services. HIPAA is a federal law. Oh, you know, before I do this, let me just take a brief moment to explain, because some people were asking me the difference between a federal law and a state law, and whether they have to abide by the federal law or not, and which comes first, the chicken or the egg. Federal law are laws that were passed by the United States Congress. We have a Senate and we have a Congress, and they're the only legislative body in the federal government that has the legitimate authority to pass laws that relate to the government function, all right? So Health and Human Services is a branch of the federal government. Your state has its own Health and Human Services, and I recommend that you check out that website, because your state's Health and Human Services, it might be called something else, all right? You'll need to figure out what that is. It comes from your state government, and that department oversees the health department, and the health department is the agency or the department that is issuing these orders and health orders and all that kind of stuff. So that's how it works. Your state laws may not be in opposition, may not conflict with the constitutional laws of the United States. So yesterday I did an infographic, and I did that infographic about your right to still be served at public establishments and schools and private businesses and your employer without undergoing any medical intervention that you don't consent to. And I think you can read between the lines. And I made this infographic. It's a flyer. There are many, 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 many laws that protect you and your right to privacy and your right to your body and your right to your medical choices. But I only chose two main laws to put on that flyer so that it would apply to the United States. And the flyer was a response to another infographic I saw where the person was giving wrong information, falsehoods. They were saying the exact opposite of what the law says. So I made one as a reply, and that's why it looks like it does, because it was answering that other flyer. I don't know if you even saw it. But anyway, many of you asked me, Peggy, what about the other laws? Yes, I only was limited on space. So I only could do a couple of the laws there. But what I want to share with you, one law that's very important is your right to privacy. All right, that is the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution. It's called the Bill of Rights. Some of you were confused and you thought that the Bill of Rights doesn't apply to individuals. It applies to individuals. It's your individual Bill of Rights. That's exactly what it exists for. These are God-given rights that you were born with. These are natural rights that you inherently have. They are inalienable, which means nothing may come before them. Nothing can take away your rights unless you go to a court of law and you are found guilty of, stealing something, and then they can take away your right to free movement by putting you in jail, all right? But aside from that, only a court can determine whether your rights are taken away. Otherwise, they may not be taken away without due process of law. Your right to privacy in your person, in your body, and in your property. Your body is your property. You have the right to privacy. No one may ask you anything about your body without a warrant, without a court warrant, without probable cause. It is illegal for someone to do that. Nobody can walk up to you and just say, where were you at 4 o'clock last night? And you have to say, yesterday afternoon, you have to say where you were. No, that's not their business. It's your business. You have to divulge that information. Get me a court order that says I have to say that. And even then, I have the right to not say it. So your information is private, period. You don't even need HIPAA when it comes to that. No one has the right to ask you anything about yourself as a condition of entering any place of business. That is what's on that sheet. So that's one of the laws that I have there. And I wanted to tell you about HIPAA. So I'm going to share my screen and we will get to that. I know I sidetrack myself sometimes, you guys, but I wanted to get all of this to you. So HHS.gov, Health Information Privacy. Now, let's talk about what HIPAA actually is. It's the Health Insurance Portability. And this is where it gets interesting, you guys. It actually has to do with your health insurance information. So you can read right here your rights under HIPAA, and we can go to home. Here it is, health information privacy. Of course, they love that picture, don't they? I'm sick of that picture. By the way, that's a computer generated picture. I'm sure you already know that. This is a figment of someone. I better not go too far. This will be taken down. All right. So you can file a complaint. You actually can file a complaint with the Health and Human Services if you believe that you have had your rights violated. If you believe that a HIPAA covered entity, these are insurance companies. This is not Trader Joe's, Costco, or your employer. A HIPAA covered entity we're going to talk about. If they violated your health information privacy rights, then you can file a complaint. And here you go, file a complaint online. You know, you can still file a complaint with the Health and Human Services about other discrimination. I will do a video on that coming up soon. But what I wanted to show you is that the HIPAA for individuals. And what I did is I clicked through for your rights under HIPAA. And there's a video that you can watch. And basically, so you can click through here, and that's what I did. So this is what we have. Your health information and your rights. All right. You have the right to access your medical records from your doctor or from your insurance company. The insurance company, this law says that the insurance company must give you access to your health information. Let me come off the screen for a second. HIPAA is about your health insurance and your health information at your doctor's office. And what the law says is that your doctor's office may not share that information with anyone else without your consent. So when you go to the doctor and you sign all those pages and pages and pages, probably one of those pages is saying that you agree to give your doctor consent to share your health information with a pharmacy, for example, or a diagnostic center that needs to do some kind of testing on you, or it can go to a different doctor if you're going to a specialist, or if you are changing doctors, or if you are changing insurance companies. Further, the law states that those insurance companies have to keep your medical information private. They can't sell it to anybody. They can't give it away. They can't use it for research, and on it goes. So the HIPAA laws protect your health information at the doctor's level when you're going for your medical care, your medical treatment. And when you go to get that diagnostic test, let's say you're getting an MRI on your knee, you're going to sign and say that that laboratory, that diagnostic location, that facility has the right to send your information to your doctor. So the HIPAA violations, in my understanding of this policy, has nothing to do with the store asking you for your information. And the reason I personally don't say, oh, that's a violation of my HIPAA rights, is because the stores are already not even listening to that. They've heard that again and again and again. They've probably been told by their boss to, oh, just ignore it if they say HIPAA. So you can study this further. You can go to hhs.gov. You can read about it. There's pages and pages. You can read the actual HIPAA law that was signed into law. You can read it right from what it was, the bill, and then it was signed into law. And then you will be able to use that information correctly and appropriately. What I recommend is simply saying my right to privacy is protected by the Constitution, by the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution. Sorry, you guys, I am getting tongue-tied here because I'm getting so excited about this information that I want to share with you. So your right to privacy is guaranteed not only by the federal law, by the US Constitution and the amendment to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights. Your right to privacy over your body is protected by your own state constitution. If you are interested in getting those laws about your state, we have done the research for you at thehealthyamerican.org. Go under state laws. You can find that information. These are laws that protect you from discrimination. These are not the health orders. Please don't get mistaken. This is not the emergency orders from the government. That's not what you're getting. Those are temporary. Those are orders that were issued and changed frequently because they want to keep us confused. These are state laws that protect you from being discriminated against. We include the laws that about trespassing in your state. We include laws about your free and equal access to places of business. So if you are interested in that, you can get that at thehealthyamerican.org. So thank you, everybody, for asking about the HIPAA information. You can always leave me a comment below. I love hearing from you. Please make sure that you are on with me at thehealthyamerican.org. That is where I send out the newsletter. That's where all of the best information is. Please check back frequently. I do create content daily, and I want to keep you up to date on what I'm researching, what I'm learning, and then giving you some action steps to follow. So thank you, everybody. So grateful to have you on board. And I need your help to breathe life back into liberty. We are going full steam ahead.